And today I'm here with Dr. Blessel because we're going to talk a little bit about working from home. And it looks like, this is definitely a newer phenomenon for a lot of us over the last couple months. But it looks like this is something that is here to stay. So I think it's definitely an important topic to touch on so that we can maybe help our community and give them some tips on and some strategies on how to do the working from home effectively and safely, and to reduce, issues of repetitive stress and strain and pain. So Blessel, why don't we start first of all talking about a setup at home, and what's a good setup and what's a not so great setup.
Right. Well, I want to say first that a lot of people forgot that the laptops came out before the smartphones did. So laptops were a way to get workers get some time in on the train, but it was actually just a temporary fix until they got to their desktop at the office or at home. But what has happened is that we started to use our laptops as our desktops. And when you think about it, the monitor is like this and the keyboard is literally right by the monitor, like this. And so we're just that design alone is going to make you slouch forward like this to reach for that angle, right? So the laptop was the 90s version of the smartphone. It's not meant to do like a full day's worth of office work, but we're all at home with a laptop. So what I say is deskify your laptop. Okay, when you're going to do when you do like a full-time hours. And the way you would do that is you can prop your laptop with anything you've got around. It doesn't have to be fancy. For me, it would be like a yoga block or a stack of books, or you can buy a laptop. What do you call those things? I can't think of it in my head.
I know what you mean.
A laptop dock. The only thing with those docks, though, it's on the assumption that you're still using their keyboard. I say raise your laptop so the screen, the center of the monitor is in line with your eyes.
Okay, so center of the monitor in line with my eyes. Yep.
Yeah, so if I was going again on the side view, and this is my monitor here, the eye level should be the center of my monitor. Okay, so
got it.
With a laptop on whatever surface, that's automatically like this.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So you have to elevate your laptop, number one. Number two is get rid of that keyboard. Don't use it. You need to use either a wireless keyboard or, use a USB port, whatever it is. You can't use the keyboard on your laptop if you're working 40 hours a week or even less than. Because again, even if you prop up the laptop so that the monitor is the center of the eyes, then you start
then you're like this.
Shoulders and this. You end up you're okay with like this, right? And if we think about too, when you do Zoom calls or virtual calls with clients, the body language that manifests as a result of this posture like this, it doesn't transfer well.
Right.
We all look like a bunch of turtles. And that affects our vocal projection. Right?
Yes.
And then what that does is it shortens our deep neck flexors, which is our this sternocleidomastoid, which does this.
Yes.
And our scalenes and our upper traps. And when those are chronically tight, we get headaches and neck pain, which we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
And jaw pain.
Yes.
Jaw pain,
that's a big one. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So that's the thing with virtual. You have to think about with working from home.
Yes.
And also now with coronavirus and we're stuck at home, the way we connect with each other is also important for body language and how we present. And if we're using our devices, they've got to be set up well so that our body language can help with our vocal projection. We don't look stressed and tense when we're on camera. And also so we can work the hours. So raise the monitor so it's the center of your eye with whatever you've got around the house. Get another keyboard. And your keyboard, I say to everybody, ideally, it should be just resting, right your arm, just like this. So again, what happens is that people will use like a kitchen counter, or they'll be sitting in bed, or a TV dinner table. I think people like TV dinner.
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, those little fold-out tables. And again, you could probably set up everything this, but you've got to make sure that your wrists, like functionally, should not be like side by side parallel. They have to be out a bit more, like an array. So if you have the capability, some people go full blown, and they get these ergonomic keyboards that are more like a rainbow, rather than this like rigid rectangular thing that I'm now like forced to like type in. Like this block is like the same like size of my keyboard on my MacBook. Like it's like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's also about like spreading out a little bit this way, but what position is the wrist in? Because some people are, typing up like this with their wrist in extension, or typing too far down like this. So then that can cause a lot of problems too. And we'll talk a little bit about what sort of problems that causes. But but yeah, ergonomic alignment is definitely a very important piece.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of times with laptops, the wrists are more like inflection. Okay. And then in desktops, it's more like an extension. Okay. And then that can cause stress. So you ideally just want to keep it nice and functional. Like if you were playing a piano, it's the same thing.
Right.
Like a piano, in order for you to keep your hands loose but still put the pressure when you need it. So those are the things. But you don't need anything fancy. Like I said, use like a cereal box if you have to. I have a block here, but it doesn't matter what it is. Nobody can see what it is. It's literally just what will help you open things up.
Right. Okay.
But even if you had like the gold standard of ergonomics, if you're stuck there for 8 hours, you're going to have problems. So.
Oh yeah. Any sort of prolonged position is not good for anybody. Right? It doesn't matter if we're sitting or standing or slouching in a couch. It's just not great for prolonged periods of time. So, so I guess that's one tip too, is just getting up and moving and switching positions. Right.
Right.
Okay, so would you say there's anything different with a desktop? I mean, I guess if a desktop is set up the same way, where the monitor is at that sort of mid-level of your eyesight, then that's great, right? But what about the desk height or the seat height? When you're working at a desktop, those things can influence as well, right?
Yes, and a lot of people don't really set up their home office to be like a real office. It's more like the office that collects dusts and whatever, and now you're using it. So So when you're sitting down with your chair, your feet should be in contact with the floor.
Right.
Okay, comfortably. And the reason for that is so that you're not shifting your pelvis, slouching in the chair or coming too forward. You should feel comfortable and supported where your feet are touching the floor. Okay. And if that's not possible, then you take your trusty block or whatever it is and put it underneath your feet. Okay? And that takes the pressure off your hip flexors, which can influence your back.
Right.
Yeah. So support your feet. Ideally, your back should be supported by a seat back.
As you do that, I'm gonna sit up a little taller.
Ideally, but it doesn't always happen. Like I have this like mid-century chair, look like inspired chair, and it's not ergonomic. I didn't care. I went for aesthetics. So, but you can take like. You can take a meditation pillow, a pillow, what have you, okay? And just pad it up.
Right.
See, now I'm sitting up straight. But I don't have a job that requires me to be at my desk for 8 hours.
Too long,
right? So that's why for me, I can get away with these short bursts of time on the desk. But pad up your chair so that, your back is supported. Your pelvis is supported. You might have to sit on something. Some people are sitting on like patio chairs. Like I did a virtual and she's sitting on patio furniture. you never, and some people are on the floor, okay, and that can be very hard on your pelvis, the sciatic nerve, and all those areas that after some time of sitting can cause some pain.
Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can angle myself down here.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah.
All right, so I'm sitting here, and I'm just going to. So my feet are kind of on the floor, I suppose. I want to be right back on the back of my seat, but now I'm leaning back. So I guess I could take a roll like this.
Yeah.
So some people, will use lumbar rolls, but if you don't have one of those, you can just roll up a towel or use a pillow like you showed, right? And then placing that up here puts me in a slightly better position.
Yeah, and it gets you into this neutral position. You're right on your sit bones. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, so that's the ideal setup. Be mindful of your neck position, your face, your eye position on your monitor, having your arms relaxed, your wrists in a neutral position, and then keeping that nice neutral alignment through the pelvis and the back, having your back supported and your feet comfortably on the floor.
Right.
Is that a good summary?
That's amazing.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit now then about posture types. Some of the different types of posture that people like to assume, and what that does as far as how it influences different muscles and tissues and joints of the body.
Right. So a big one is called hyperkyphosis. And I'll show you on my spine. I'll just
oh yeah,
I've got Mr. Spine here.
Okay.
Okay, so I have my spinal model, and so you have 7 bones. This is the head. Okay.
Yep.
You have 7 bones in the neck, which is the cervical spine, and then you have 12 bones in the mid back, is thoracic spine, and 5 bones in the low back. That's the lumbar spine. That's why they say lumbar support goes to the low back. Okay. So what a lot of people experience, a lot of patients say to me, it's like, oh, Dr. Blessel, I noticed it just came out of nowhere. I just noticed it today that I have this hunchback, this little notch in the base of my neck right here. Okay.
Yep.
And what they're actually describing is, like, I have it a little bit too from like having kids and just looking down all the time. It's this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if I wish I had like can you see how the neck is like, and then there's this break here where it's like a lot of pressure. And so the head's really heavy, and I always give the analogy of holding an iPad. Like if I was holding this like yoga block or an iPad like right in front of me for a long period of time, like that would start to get really heavy.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Our head is very heavy. So if we're slouching forward because we're on our phones or we're looking down on our laptop, then all these muscles start to get tight, and then our mid-back or thoracic starts to slouch forward. That's kyphosis. And it's supposed to have a natural curvature. This is called the kyphosis here. Okay? But when it's hyperkyphosis, it means it's overly doing it.
Yeah.
Okay?
So it's super slouch forward.
Super slouch forward. So that's the hyperkyphotic one.
Okay.
And then there's the hyperlordotic, which is the arched back. Okay, arched back like this. Like this. And so the pelvic, if I just stand up here, you can just see that it would just be someone who's arching their back like this.
Right.
Okay, so you would notice when you're standing, and then you're sitting, you would be like more forward onto your chair. Your hips are tight, and your low back is also very tight. Yeah. Okay.
So we don't want excessive flexed postures or kyphosis, but we don't want excessive extension postures.
Yes.
Which we'll often see in the lower back area.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so those are the 2 major things as far as like when you're sitting down for the spine. And I would just say those 2 things.
Yeah. And I think the one other one when people try to correct posture is to really do too much. and then they end up getting super rigid and tight through this whole area when we just chatted about how important it is to sort of have some sort of relaxation and sort of neutral position in that upper back. So I think that can also contribute to some issues, especially if it's for a prolonged period of time, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so those are some of the typical postures that can be problematic. Let's maybe chat a little bit about some of the repetitive stress issues, injuries, some of the discomfort that people might want to watch out for, especially when working from home. And maybe you can start by telling us what a repetitive stress injury is.
Yeah. So a repetitive stress injury is an injury that creeps up over time. Okay. A lot of times patients will say, I didn't do something specific. Like it just happened yesterday, but I didn't do anything. Right. So that means something was happening over time, and then the body got tired. And then eventually that pain gets louder and louder and louder. And then it gets from pain to some maybe numbness and tingling, and then maybe some lack of function. So depending on how in tune you are with your body and listening to the body, you may wait till the end of the road or just at the beginning of the symptoms. But repetitive strain is an injury that happens like typing, looking at screens for a long period of time, playing a musical instrument, chopping.
It's a buildup.
Anything.
It's a buildup, right? It's like you don't feel anything, and all of a sudden you hit this tipping point and it just all comes crashing down.
That's right.
So, okay, so what are some of the common types of repetitive stress injuries related to working from home?
I would say neck pain is a big one because of the alignment of the laptop and also working on a phone. So neck pain is a big one that I've been seeing, like migraines, headaches, and just a lot of upper shoulder tension that just doesn't seem to go away.
Right.
And, what happens is that the upper traps is related to the neck. They all attach to the base of the neck.
Right.
And that's why if you have tension in the upper traps, you'll also end up with like a headache.
So if there's too much of this happening, then that can influence what you're feeling up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Any others?
I was looking for anatomy. I have my anatomy charts here. Okay. I put my laptop over my anatomy charts. Okay, so you can see how you can see the upper traps. They actually are continuous up into the base of the skull. So that's why you can have neck tension if your head is always forward. Yeah. And then go ahead.
I was just going to say, with that whole head forward thing, we were talking about when it's forward like this.
Yeah.
I always think of it as a bowling ball. So imagine a heavy bowling ball, and you're holding it out in front of you like this for a long period of time. I mean, your arm's going to get super tired.
Right.
So it's the same thing for a lot of the muscles and through your shoulders and your neck. If you're holding a bowling ball out here for a long time, it's going to be very tiring and it's going to become uncomfortable.
That's right. Yeah. So one thing that you can do actually to counter that stress is you can take a TheraBand or a towel. So you can use either one. Maybe I can demo with the TheraBand. You can take the towel. Yeah. Okay. And so you would take the length of the towel and I'll go to the side view so you can see. So you do a broad contact. Okay. And then you just have it like right in front of you, like so. Yep. Okay. And then you just engage, drop your shoulders down, engage your core, and then inhale, just extend and use the band to help encourage that support. And it helps to kind of
reverse.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything we do is forward.
Right.
So
you
just
help to encourage extension. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that actually feels good.
Yeah, for the neck it does. It's a good one. Yeah. And then another thing is you can even slide it underneath the armpits, so you're going around like the bra strap level. Okay. And the same thing too is you can just extend and reach out. So I'm reaching out. I'm just going to stand so you can see. Yeah, that's it. And then pull up on the towel. So you have this counter force. The band is going this way, but you're extending over. And that's going to help to mobilize the thoracic spine.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
Okay. So that's,
great tips.
That's for the neck and the mid-back repetitive strain.
Okay.
And then a big one, too, is the hands. The hands get... you can get carpal tunnel syndrome, and carpal tunnel syndrome is basically when the flexor retinaculum, which is right here, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, that gets really tight, gets a lot of scar tissue, because you can see that, actually this is extensor retinaculum. It's hard to tell. Okay, this is the one. Yeah, no, it is flexor. It just looks like, okay.
Yeah.
Then you can see that all the muscle tendons, they cross through there and then attach to the fingertips, right?
So we're talking about right here.
Yeah, right in there. Okay, and so when you're typing, right, all the time, right, then this area here can get really, the fascia can get really tight and start to affect the way the circulation comes through the hand and the nerves. So you can see, I don't have the nerve one here. But so one way to really help with opening that up is to use a ball. Okay. And what I do is I just clasp my fingers and I just massage.
Oh, that looks good.
Especially too with the phone, because of texting, texting all the time. So all that gesturing, even if you don't have a mouse, but you're using your laptop to do the gesturing for the mouse or the touchpad, right? And even the mouse, so you get this trigger finger too. So depending on what you're using with your hands, like one of my patients is an engineer, and all the shortcuts, it's just these they're really close to his hand on his keyboard when he's drafting online, right? Digital drafting. So it's just repeated gestures all the time. So whatever it is that you're doing, which is work specific, is going to be a problem. So using the ball is very helpful to massage out the heel of the hand. Hi, Maharla Queen. Thanks for joining.
That looks really, really comforting, actually, as you're doing it. I'm going to try that after.
Yeah, try it. And then, I think even too for the hand, a really good one is even to use those. Those obnoxious bouncy balls that the kids have that
the big rubber ones?
Those rubber ones.
Yes.
You just go to the dollar store, go to the loot bag section, you get a pack of 5 for $1. And I just have a bunch of those, and you can really, this is good too, but it's a bit too big for the hand.
Right. Yeah. So something a little smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So for carpal tunnel, typically the symptoms that somebody would feel, would it be mostly the tingling or numbness into the hand that people should be looking out for?
Yeah, and with carpal tunnel, generally it's all 5 fingers will be numb. Okay? You can also have neuropathies that are level specific in the neck. Okay, so you can have compression coming higher up in the neck, then manifest down into the hands.
Right.
Logically. But carpal tunnel will have all fingers of the hands affected.
Right.
And, but, you can't diagnose this yourself. This is when you would do a virtual appointment or in-person appointment to get it assessed. Because once you start to have neurological symptoms, it takes more time and discipline to reverse those symptoms.
Right.
Because there's that much more scar tissue and nerve irritation.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about carpal tunnel. We've talked about thoracic strain. We've talked about neck strain, headaches. Any other repetitive stress issues with regards to work from home you want to talk about?
Jaw.
Jaw pain. A big one.
Yeah, jaw pain. So, TMJ is temporomandibular joint. And for me, when I read things or when I'm concentrating, I hold my breath and I grind my teeth. Okay? And a lot of people do that. And
I do too.
Yeah. And there's deadlines to do. Everybody's thinking about how to pivot their business. We can't avoid the fact that we're in a pandemic and this is a situation. So we're just literally jaw is grit. I think that's where the grit is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you are a people person, if you're in sales, it's or whatever it is you're trying to do, you're trying to negotiate something. You're an idea spreader, you know, someone who wants to influence someone. If your jaw is tight, you're just going to come out like this. Right? You look like a deer caught in headlights. And you know, you have to be able to emote and move your face. And virtually, it's like you've got to you know, it's just like if you have experience on TV, you've got to over animate your face. Right. With your read on camera. And it's just harder if you're used to being in a cubicle with a phone. Like this. But TMJ, you know you have TMJ because if you smile, like see cheese, and everybody online can take a look and see, the top teeth should be in line with the bottom teeth.
Mine are.
Yeah.
I don't think mine are.
Yeah, I'm faking it. I'm definitely
okay. Okay, I won't fake it.
I can't. I keep faking it. But like, for example, if you have tightness in your jaw this way, then you'll have a misalignment. See. And some people have jaws that click, jaws that crack, and all that, and lock. Because this is actually a joint here, and all of the muscles are here. So TMJ pain, you know, is a thing. It is a thing. So, and it can manifest as headaches, you know, and just jaw pain, neck pain. So the neck, the head, the jaw, they're all connected.
All there. And so what would you do for that? You have your ball there.
I have my ball one. Yeah, so, you know, release the teeth. Let the tongue gut stay off their mouth. And I'm going right to masseter. Masseter is this muscle right here. It's a chewing muscle. And I'm just like massaging right in there and trying to, you can trigger point it and release it. But your mouth has to be
hold it.
Yeah,
so just sustain it. Yep.
Yeah. And then temporalis is higher up. It's a chewing muscle as well. And so if you bite down, you can actually feel this muscle. It's like a fan that just goes over the ear. Temporalis. And so you can even take the ball and massage
and just
that
roll
way.
it around there.
Yeah, or even just give yourself a nice scalp massage on either side, and that helps. But you know, when you get to that point, you know, you just take a break and get away from your desk a little bit.
Okay, great. So we've covered a lot of repetitive stress injuries, and we've gone through some different tips. So using a ball can be really helpful for the wrists, for the jaw, a towel or a band, an exercise band to help with neck and thoracic strain and posture dysfunction. Do you have any other tips, like as far as stretches or strengthening exercises that can be helpful for people that are working from home?
Yeah, I would say one more thing is to open up the chest. So using a band, and I know it's like so hard trying to get on an Instagram screen, half screen here. But okay, so I'm putting it right in the center of my body, and I'm just going to show you half of it so you can see. And so I'm just going above my head, and then I'm going to bring it either behind my head if you have access, or you can go in front of your head. And basically, it's a nice pec stretch. And I like to use a band.
Can I use a towel to do that as well?
Yeah, you can use a towel too. Right? So, holding on to something like there will help you. And going up and down will target the different fibers of the pec and also helps to open it. Yeah, you can go forward.
Okay, so then again, pec muscles here, right?
Yeah. The pec muscles are that bring you protracted and forward like that.
Like this. Okay.
That's right. That's right. So opening up that chest is key. And if you think about, again, going into the hand, you know, there's this syndrome called thoracic outlet syndrome, where the nerves in the neck, as it comes out through the brachial plexus and all into the hand, can get compromised because of a forward posture like this. And so you can get what you can call crush syndromes, where the tight muscles will start to impact the way the nerves are communicating. You get numbness and tingling. So that's one way to prevent it, was it's opening up the chest.
Right. Okay.
And we haven't even left the desk. Like, these are all things that we can do without leaving the desk. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Although we probably should leave the desk. So
Yeah, you should leave the desk.
we
but
should
let's
leave the
say
desk, take some breaks.
Yes, that's
Okay, great. Anything else, Leslie? Like those are awesome stretches and tips to help people. For those that are just jumping on now, please have a look at the replay, because there's a lot of really great tips and pointers and stretches that you can use at home right away.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
And what I have to say is just use what you have at home. You don't need the top of the line, whatever. If you don't have a TheraBand, everybody has a towel at home.
Yep.
You don't have an expensive laptop ergonomic thing. Just use, like, I have a block, or you can use a shoebox, or you could use, like, just think about what you're trying to accomplish and just use what you have at home. Right? So, and like I said, if you have a completely gold standard setup, it doesn't matter, because anytime you put your body in too much of a certain situation, a position, it's going to be to your detriment. So various positioning as much as you can. Stand up. They have stand-up desks. So stand up at the kitchen counter, sit down at the kitchen table. You know, those are the things that you can vary so that it would help.
Move around. Variety is good.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
There was one patient that she had this contraption from the Dollarama, and she just put her phone on and she's walk around hand-free. I was like so intrigued by it, but that's me.
Wow.
So there's so many things out there, and just pay attention and grab them if you want it.
Yeah, I have to say, now that I have a tripod at home, especially for things like this, it makes a big difference. Tripods are great because you can angle things up and down. You can, lift the phone up and down. So they're a really great tool to use if you want to try to improve your ergonomics.
Yeah, so, and then again, when you're presenting, if you can have it so that your body is in good alignment, so that you can affect the way your body language is being read, those two go hand in hand, because a stressed body the reader or the viewer can always feel that.
Yeah, right. All right. Good points. So thank you so much, Dr. Blessel, for doing this.
Angelique. Thank you.
I think this is really helpful for a lot of our viewers. So if anybody has any questions, please, you can put a comment below or reach out directly to myself or Dr. Blessel or through Proactive Pelvic Health. And we hope that you are all doing well and staying safe at home. And hopefully this will help you work from home with a lot less pain and discomfort and avoid these sorts of injuries as well.
That's right.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thanks everybody for joining.